Hello YouTube, Flightsimguy here. Haven't done this in a long time. Figure winter is settling in. Time to go back into the cockpit. I am at Rickenbacker Air Force Base, or it's actually Rickenbacker Airport. It's a National Guard station out in Ohio. It's the next major airport in Columbus. Got two 12,000 foot runways. I have the PMDG 747. I've been flying with this bad boy I flew this bad boy a couple of times, and very interesting. Yesterday, I did my first flight from Miami to Kingston, and man, I tell you what, man, you learn a lot when you make a bunch of mistakes. So I flew into Jamaica, bunch of thunderstorms in Kingston, did one go around, said to hell with it, went to Mobay, did another go around, and by the time I landed, I ran out of gas. Shortly after I landed. Thing with the 747 is you gotta come in at the right approach angle. You cannot force this big thing to get down in case you're coming in too high. And as you all may know, I come in a little bit too high from time to time. With regards to complexity, it is a study sim. But having said that, if you've flown on the tube liners, of medium complexity, it's really not that hard. You can figure it out. Alright, so first thing we gotta do, let's go ahead and get the sim set up. I already have the 747 configured to load cold and dark, but you can still fire up the flight management computer by doing a long press on menu. Okay. Interacting with the simulator settings, PMDG makes it so that you do that with the flight management computer. You don't do that with the sim menu commands. There are three FMCs in the 747, left, right, and center. I use the center one for FS actions and PMDG setup. I use these for aircraft navigation and configuration. So first thing we got to do is do payload, fuel, weight, and payload. So fuel, for this flight, according to SimBrief, I'm going to be using 64,000 pounds of fuel. So you just type 64. There. Hit return. Go to payload. And we want 350 passengers. This is the D model of the 747. It was made for Japan Airlines, and it's a high density version of the aircraft. So the folks in Japan, could fly their folks around among the islands. So you don't need to use it for long haul, although it does have long haul capabilities. Next, I need to write down a couple figures. So we want takeoff CG 16%. Gonna need to know that. 0 fuel weight equals 490.1. I'm gonna need to know that. And I think that's all I need at this point. Alright, I'm going to have to open up a couple doors here. And for that, you come here at doors. And there's a whole bunch of doors. Let's take a look. Alright, so on the left side, we have one that's open and 4 that are closed. Let's take a look on the outside now. Good. And I think we need to open the service. This one right here is probably going to ask that I open it shortly. These two, so the front and the back for the right side. There. Alright, so while the catering trucks are doing their thing, let's go ahead and proceed with the startup. First thing we got to do, parking brake is set. Let's turn on the battery. We have ground power. Turn on the standby power and go ahead and connect to the GPU. Next, we start aligning our INS. And we'll turn on one of the packs. The aircraft is powered up, nav light on. Okay. At this point, the co-pilot's going to go out and do his walk around, and we'll proceed with the rest of the initial power up. I have the align for my INS set to real time, so it's going to take about 10 minutes. Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and call and get an ATIS. Now it's not doing anything because I need to turn on the radio. It's already tuned. I gotta turn this on so I can hear. Alright, we're gonna go to the south. I'm only doing this to get my runway. 23 right. Let's go back up here. Battery power is on, standby is on, external power 1 and 2 is on. APU I'll start when it's time to start the engines. My bus ties are all auto. My electrical pumps are all off. Engine pumps are all on. Electric engine control is all normal. Utility bus left and right are good. Nav light is on. Emergency light armed. Flaps and gear. Gear is down. Flaps is all the way up. Fuel feed. My crossfeed, my fuel crossfeeds are all open. Fuel pumps are all off. Nacelle and wing anti-ice are off. Yaw damper should be on. There. Window heat, definitely gonna need that. It's pretty cold outside. Passenger temp and flight deck, those are all auto. Cargo heat on. Recirc upper and lower on. Trim air on. Packs, we only need one on for the time being. APU bleed is on. Gasper is on. Left and right isolation valves are open. APU bleed on. Engine bleeds are on. Alright, now comes the fun part. Time to set up the flight management computer. 2 is 149. Alright, at this point, the nav on my INS is aligned, so I can go ahead, and I'll go ahead and double check this in a moment. I can go ahead and request boarding. Request boarding. Alright. Okay, baggages are being loaded. Look at that. And this is GSX level 2, so we should be getting a truck that should be pulling up, and people should be walking into these doors. That's going to be interesting. Here we go. Oh, these customers are walking up. Look at that. I gotta hand it to the folks at GSX. This is pretty cool. Enough of that. Let's get back with the setup of the cockpit. Flight management computers are done deal. Let's proceed with the checklist. Alright. Let's go ahead and set up the guidance panel. 3037 is my barometer. V2 is 150. Let's go ahead and come out at 170. I'm going to go ahead and arm LNAV, but I'm not going to use it. And I don't know why it's not arming. Stupid study sim. Heading, we're taking off on runway 23 right. So let's go ahead and get this. There. And we're just going to climb straight up to our cruise altitude, which is 38,000 feet. And I need to arm, turn on both flight directors, which is probably why I couldn't arm my LNAV. There we go. I want this to be at 20. We want weather. We want airport. that. Okay, that's good. Everything here is set up as I need. I probably should take a moment to go through a few items. The 747-400 did away with the flight engineer station. So let's do a couple checks here. Here you can check your engine. I haven't started anything yet. Total fuel, 64,000 pounds. It's the temperature. Your cabin altitude and your landing altitude, that's all, set it and forget it. Engine oil, everything is good. Let's go ahead and look at hydraulics. Our quantity is good. I can also go ahead and look at the gear. It shows the brake temperature and the tire pressure. These are all good. I have the 747 set up to not fail anything and everything be good. So reason being, I'm still training on it. It's fuel, and I'm still learning, so I need to make things easy on myself. No fuel in the center tanks. Just have fuel in these tanks, and I'll go ahead and turn on the pumps and whatnot when it's time to start up. Guidance panel is set. I wonder if I can arm vertical speed. Yes, I can. And let's go ahead and set this to 170. And we'll go ahead and climb out at 3,500 feet per minute. Alright, the guidance panel is set. Let's come down here, do a couple items. Let's go ahead and test. Still boarding more passengers. Test the weather radar.
Monitor radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Let's go ahead and check TCAS.
TCAS test. Pass.
All right. While our passengers are coming on, let's go ahead and do our. Oops. There we go. Rudder trim, aileron trim are all 0. I'll arm this once I'm taxiing. All right. Fuel switches all set to cut off. And I am pretty much almost ready to start. So, I still have a bunch of customers that are boarding, I want to say. Yep. Ooh, look at the hot flight attendant. I never noticed her before. That must have been a GSX thing. Yep, slowly making their way off the bus. Alright. I can close left door 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. I'll make sure I didn't close the door in front of them while they're boarding. All right. Well, they're almost done boarding. Only 100 passengers left. While that's happening, I'm going to use this time to go over my checklists and make sure that I haven't missed anything. Let's take a moment to go over the fuel system. In older models of the 747, the flight engineer had to manage the fuel from the tanks and whatnot. I want to say with the 400 model, there's a 120k rule. Let's see if I get this right. If you have less than 120,000 pounds of fuel, what you do is you turn on all the main tanks, this one, this one, this one, this one, and turn off the cross feeds. Close that and close that. If you have more than 120,000 pounds of fuel, what you do is you turn on the pumps where for the tanks that have fuel, turn on the override, and open the cross feeds. And that's it. The system will will essentially manage the fuel system in flight. Don't think you have to worry about shifting stuff around. There is a fuel jettison feature that is modeled, but like I said, the system is set up to essentially work perfectly. I don't have to worry about that. The 747, based on the couple flights that I've taken so far, I thought it'd be very complicated and very difficult to fly. It is harder to fly than other aircraft. I mean, you can get away with stuff in the Mad Dog and the 717 and even the 737 that you cannot get away with in this plane. One of which is coming down too steep. All you got to do is give yourself a little bit more time. Alright, flight management computer is good. I want to set the trim after I've started the plane because I don't have any hydraulics yet. Okay, we are almost done. We're almost done boarding. Once we get the passengers in and all buttoned up, I'll start the engines and we can proceed with the taxi. Alright, passenger boarding is just about complete. Passenger truck should be leaving. The boarding stairs should be backing away pretty soon. There we go. Close entry left 1. Alright, let's go ahead and verify that all of our doors are good. All these doors are closed. Cargo. I need to go ahead and close these. Let's go ahead and get the APU started. Now to do that, all you need to do, move the APU to on, hold it for a second or two, release, and the APU is going to go ahead and spin up. Okay, APU is available. There we go. And now that I have APU going, what I can do is turn on this 4th hydraulic pump, and that provides hydraulics for the parking brake, which I can go ahead and set. I was having a hard time keeping the parking brake set yesterday. Now I need to disconnect the GPU and remove the chocks, and there goes my parking brake. It's not holding. I'm not sure what the problem is. Okay, ground power release. And I can go ahead and call for, I don't need a pushback. Woohoo! Alright. Let's get the checklist. I am ready for engine start. Everyone should be buttoned up. To start the engines, what you need to do, I don't need to turn off all the packs. I just need one pack on. I have less than 120,000 pounds of fuel, so let's turn this on, this on. There. I don't need to turn on the center pumps. I don't have any fuel in those tanks. Auto start needs to be on. Ignition continuous. And engine's about to come on. Beacon on. And I want to say I'm just about ready to start up the engines. Now to start the engines on this thing, it's actually pretty easy. What you do, we'll go ahead and start engines 3 and 4 first. You don't need to wait until it reaches a certain level. Just go ahead and pop it on. Okay, what's the problem here? Oh, everything's fine. There goes engines 3 and 4. There they go, spinning up. Now let's do engines 1 and 2. Need to wait for the start switches to pop back in. There we go. And the engines have settled down. I'm not sure why the parking brake won't stay. Alright. We have all 4 engines started. Now let's do some post-startup items. Flaps 10. My trim . 6.5. There we go. Let's go ahead and set rejected takeoff. Let's check our control surfaces. And last but not least, let's go ahead and turn off our APU. Turn these on. Turn on all my hydraulics. These lights should slowly go off. Put this on auto. And turn off that. Alright, we are ready to taxi. We'll do one more run through of the after start checklist. Passenger signs on, that's fine. Taxi light on. Let's go ahead and turn on all my packs. Alright, fuel tank E and G. All 4 engines are going. Let's see. Cross feeds needs to be off. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright, now we're ready to taxi. Now I think this little notch right here is to help you with the taxiing. Just go ahead and put the taxi line on the notch and you should stay on the taxi route, or pretty close to it anyways. Holding short, 23 right.
Approaching. 2, 3, right.
Alright, I'm gonna have to look up why the parking brake isn't holding. Let's turn on landing lights. Turn off that. Let's go ahead and turn on. Don't need the logo lights. Let's go ahead and call.
Right, 744 heavy.
Alright, so my plan is line up, takeoff, and shortly after takeoff I need to engage the autopilot. It will have lateral navigation armed, and it should be taking off, making sure that I have a good speed before I go ahead and set it into a climb of 3,500. You know what, let's go ahead and move this down. I don't trust this. I don't trust this. Alright, let's go. I've started to use a toga switch on my takeoffs. It's pretty cool. It takes the guesswork out of getting the right setting for takeoff power. One thing I like about Rickenbacker is it has these really nice runways, long runways.
On runway. 2, 3,
Okay,
right.
let's go ahead and line up. Hold the brakes. So what you do is bring the engines up to about 40%. Let it stabilize, and here is your toga. Okay, I had the same warning yesterday. Config spoilers. Well, I had it armed, so I'm not sure what the problem is, so I'm gonna go ahead and ignore that for now.
V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and follow the flight path manually. Flaps up 1. Okay. Turn on the autopilot. Okay. Okay, what's it saying? Okay, I didn't turn. Oh, damn it. Alright, autopilot. Let's go ahead and set it in heading mode. There we go. Ends off. And we are, let's make it flight level change. Okay, it's gonna pitch. Flaps up. To hold that speed, and I can go ahead and engage LNAV. There. Flaps all the way up. Depressurize the landing gear. Alright, I was complaining about the spoilers. Spoilers weren't armed. I thought I armed them. Okay. Coming up on 10,000 feet. Turn these off. After takeoff checklist. Gears up, depressurize Auto brake should be back to off. It is. Altimeter, I'll set the standard, passing flight level 18,000. Crossing over 10,000 feet, I can go ahead and increase the speed to 250. Let's go ahead and set this to, there we go. We are heading south on course. Let's go ahead and put this on fuel. Let's go ahead and turn seatbelt signs to auto. Alright, and we're at a climb 3,200 feet per minute. We'll go ahead and hold the speed until we get past 20,000, then I'll go ahead and set it to Mach 6.8 and take that up. Alright, speed brake arm. What the hell is armed? I wonder what it was complaining about. Continuous ignition is on. Let's go ahead and turn that off. And that's it. We had a good departure. Whoa. This bad boy is smoking. You can see that it is slowly putting the nose down as it gets higher and higher. Alright. Let's take a look at our progress. And we have a ways to go. Alright, let's go ahead and set the altimeter standard. There we go. And that's it. The PMDG 747, it looks intimidating, but the truth of the fact is it really and truly isn't. It's actually easy to set up. It's easy to fly. Landing is a little bit trickier. You have to manage your speed and think a little bit ahead of the plane compared to the other aircraft. But as long as you follow the checklist and stick to the discipline, stick to the protocols that you have learned with the other aircraft, it's really not that bad. So this has been a good experience for me. Anyway, that's all I have for now. We'll go ahead and pick this up when we hit the top of descent coming down to Tampa. My name is Flightsimguy. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.